Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'll be talking about why I don't believe in God and I'm essentially an atheist and kinda explaining my position. Now, obviously, the first kind of main point I will make is that there simply is no like real evidence as to, what is this? For a God. There is like no scientific evidence and like nobody has like seen him, or like even if God was real, like 100%, we knew it. Most people still wouldn't want to worship him because, well, that's just human psychology. Humans don't like necessarily worshiping people, or I literally don't have any armor. I am not doing this. Goodbye. What is this? So yeah, that's kind of one point. Now, another point is that which God to believe in. There are a lot of gods. I'm not gonna start naming every religion, but Christianity, and Islam, and everything else, and all of these religions, they all have their own gods. Like the Egyptians had, like five gods. God for the sun, for the earth, for kind of every natural element of the world. And I think that was kind of just an early human way for trying to explain things and kind of, satisfying the, big questions. For example, if you have a god for nature, then you can kind of like, why is something the way it is? Oh, well, the god of nature made that plant, and, that's why that plant does that specific thing. Or something like that, essentially. So yeah, basically by not believing in, the one God that's kind of the most, I would say, popular, you're not, if you believe in a God, like the Christian one, like you're still rejecting like 2,900 other gods, that also exist. So that's kind of another point of mine. And I wanted to kind of move also to a bit of a kind of why people but believe in a religion and do all of that stuff. Now, from what I know, our religion was originally created to turn barbaric, nomadic people into civilized. Wow, this is beautiful. Into civilized and cultural people, to kind of turn barbarians into good people. So they wouldn't do a bunch of uh bad stuff. And that's kind of how, in my opinion, religion started, like Christianity. And you know, now that's not so necessary. Like, to be a good person, you don't need to be a Christian. To be a good person, you can be like an atheist, but still live by some sort of moral code, or something like that. Like, you don't have to be religious to be a good person. That's kind of another one of those main points, is that many people, they turn to religion to kind of better themselves, but you don't have to be religious to uh well, kind of better yourself, right? And I also think that religion is kind of, a lot of religions, like, religions are very, very old, at least most of them, right? Christianity started like back in, uh I don't exactly know, but I think when the Roman Empire was still around. I think, but I'm wrong. But I don't know when it started originally, right? But it started like a long time ago, essentially, right? Um, and that's kind of like, if you follow a religion that was like around 2,000 years ago, then there are obviously some old ideas in that religion, right? Some kind of things that we have moved past, as a people, I suppose that's the best way to put it. And you know, another thing is that kind of religions are kind of self-contradictory, right? Um, like, I'm not, for example, like, if God is all loving and all powerful, this is kind of the main one. Then why does stuff like earthquakes happen that kill thousands of innocent people, right? Or diseases or something like that. Like you can use like you can use the argument that it's like punishment, I suppose, but what's good like why are you punishing a 5-year-old that hasn't, even started life? Like that doesn't really make sense. And I also don't see why God can just, like show himself. Like, okay, if you're real, then you can just come down or something, like or appear and start and you just show yourself. Like if you want people to believe in you, you can't expect them to blindly believe in like in stuff like that, especially humans, right? You can't expect humans to kind of unconditionally believe in something like that. You kind of have to convince them, right? That's why uh humans can never like we are always arguing about things because we can never agree on one thing. Like there are literally people like conspiracy theorists who there's like sign. Oh crap, man, I'm scared. Oh no, I don't have anything. No. What is this scam? All right, that was interesting. All right, as I was saying. Okay, that's another dragon. There are literally people who don't believe in things that are like kind of blatantly true. Conspiracy theorists essentially. And so how can you expect a people that literally don't believe in anything, like even if it's right in front of them, believe in something that, doesn't necessarily have any evidence, right? That's just kind of just not gonna work, essentially, right? I should probably start going by this. I don't want to fight that dragon. That dragon's see. So yeah, that's my next one. It's just simply humans are very like untrustworthy, and like for example, we have leaders in our world, right? Like a president, or a yeah, president or kings, whatever. And you know, a lot of humans simply just hate leaders. Like every time a new president is elected, there's like 20% of the population who make angry like posts on Reddit or Twitter or whatever that they hate this person. Like so humans find it very hard to agree on something like kind of solely. And obviously you could say the argument that those kind of people that if God really did exist and showed himself and they didn't believe, they would be sent to hell. And that's my next point. What is up with that? Like, is your only way of convincing people to kind of worship you to just say, I mean, yeah, worship you. Like, how can you convince people that you are all loving and all caring if the moment they disagree with you, you send them into a fiery pit of fire, right? That doesn't really make sense. Like, if you are all loving and all caring and stuff like that, and you have created the universe, why do you have to send people into a lake of fire for eternity just because they did not believe in you, but believed in some other god, or just simply didn't believe in you, right? That just doesn't sound very, very logical or humane, right? It's just simply kind of logical, illogical things that you start thinking about, and most people like um, people that kind of do believe in a god, they would kind of dismiss it simply because humans are very good at simply just dismissing stuff if it doesn't kind of help their argument. And I'm sure I'm doing that, but I don't have a script here, right? I'm just kind of making a video where I just start talking, and so I definitely could miss some things. um yeah, that's kind of why I am an atheist, right? I don't believe in God simply because there's no evidence of a God, and there are a lot of gods, and there are logical fallacies upon which most of the religions are built. Logical fallacies, or uh, kind of illogical statements, right? Um, like in the Bible, it says that God created the heaven and the earth in like 7 days. Excuse me, the earth wasn't created in 7 days. Like we have little like proof that there was a kind of big bang, and that took like 4 billion years to kind of form all of the planets and everything, and then another 4 billion years for life to emerge on like on Earth, and then another 4 billion years to I'm missing I'm missing the numbers I've already. What was it? Ah, shite. Um, but okay, but like, it definitely didn't take 7 days. Now, another argument that I could kind of make is that God could have like made the universe specifically so that it looks like those materials have been there for that long, or um, for him, from his perspective, it only took like 7 days. But like, if you want people to kind of believe in you, you kind of have to explain that, right? You can't just say 7 days and not elaborate if it really didn't take 7 days from all perspectives, right? Um, so that's another thing, and yeah, that's just kind of why I personally, don't believe in a God, and full disclaimer, it's totally fine to believe in God. Like, there's so many people who do. Like, I'm just kind of expressing my opinions and why I don't. And obviously, I think everybody should, be an atheist. But I'm like, if people like each person who believes in a particular religion or that doesn't believe in anything, everybody really thinks that everyone should kind of believe in what they believe. And I'm just saying that outright. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I think everybody should be an atheist, and that's simply. Oh, yeah, so my next argument would be that, people believe in God, and that can be explained through kind of through psychology. People usually need a leader, people need an idol, somebody to really look up to. People sometimes need help in life, right? And, when you're in a tough spot in life, having somebody to talk to, like praying, it's really helpful. And I wasn't always an atheist, or rather a non-believer, and I can speak from personal experience that, when you're kind of feeling down and you want somebody to talk to, uh, talking to God is really kind of helpful, right? And it also kind of gives people a kind of sense of everything's going to be all right, right? Because God is there. If you believe in an eternal power like that, you will always kind of be able to, uh, I would say, like, rely on that power's wisdom and guidance. Like, for example, if you studied hard for an exam, a test, basically, and the test is tomorrow. Uh, Personally, I really stress out. Like, I stress out. I think, like, even if I studied, I'm gonna fail, right? But for people who believe in God, they might be like, I studied, it's fine, God has my back, right? Or same with medical things. Like, if you believe in God, then getting like, you don't stress out as much about medical things because you think like, oh, well, God has my back, right? So believing in God, it's even purely like psychologically logical, right? Humans like needs usually need some sort of like external validation and kind of help, right? And God provides a kind of third party that is not human, that is not won't really judge you. And the church is definitely a good thing, right? You go, like, you can talk about your sins with somebody and kind of talk about life and everything like that. So believing in God is really psychological, it's logical, and I think that not believing in God should only be like stop believing. Like, I stopped believing only when I was like ready. Like, when like I kind of realized that if I want to do something in life, like, there's no point in praying. I just have to go out there and do it. That's kind of my, like, when I stopped believing at around like, I would say 13 years of age, and my first kind of realization for that, why I stopped, is simply that praying has like no real life uh kind of purpose. Like people sometimes pray, oh please, pray for like if something bad happens, like somebody gets sick or a fight. People usually pray and they kind of pray for that to well end, right, or resolve itself. And I just realized that that doesn't really do anything. Like if you want a sick person to become healthy, like praying for them won't help. Like you can what you can do is do something else that might actually help. Like for example, try and find money for like surgery or something, or start a funding page, or if worst comes to worst, start helping kind of fund research, start donating money to people researching that specific disease, right? So that's kind of it's much better than praying. And in the end you're still like you're showing support. And I'm not judging anything. Like obviously you can pray. Like praying takes like 5 minutes. Like it doesn't really matter. Like if somebody prays for 5 minutes, it's not it's not gonna it won't stop them from also doing other stuff I mentioned. And I really don't want to be judgmental, because these topics are very sensitive topics. This topic is a sensitive topic, and I just don't want anybody to kind of be angry at me. I'm just kind of sharing my own opinion on why on this topic. So, and I'm not judging anybody, right? Like if you believe, like, I'm totally fine with that. My only problem is when people who believe start kind of oppressing their views on other people, right? And I really don't want to do that. I just kind of want to explain why I do the things I do. I believe the things I believe in, and that's it. So please, don't get angry. Um, yeah. So yeah. I guess that's it. That's kind of my main points of argument. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe. 99% of you aren't subscribed. So if you can, if you could, please. I really need it. But yeah, hope you enjoy. I hope this was was thoughtful. I hope you start kind of started thinking about this. I really and if you have any good like thoughts, or if you want to share your opinion, feel free to say something in the comment section. I really appreciate when people share their opinions and kind of want to talk with me, because that's why I'm doing this. I really want to kind of promote kind of deeper thinking. Think about these topics, and I want to do that in also kind of an open manner, right? So give people the opportunity to truly express their views without any kind of like judgment or oppression, or kind of negative feedback. Because a lot that happens is that somebody says their opinion, and the other person gets really mad. You can't really control that. That's also part of free speech. But I kind of just don't want that, because that's just negative for everyone. So yeah. So yeah, if you enjoyed, subscribe, don't subscribe, basically. Yeah, goodbye.